Hi folks, hope you're okay. We're looking at this book, Mormons Answered, verse by verse. It's a really good book, and we're going to look at scriptures now. Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 27. And God said, let us make man in our image. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he, male and female. He them. Created he them. The Mormon Church uses these verses to support two of its distinctive teachings: that God has a body resembling our own, and that the Trinity actually consists of three separate distinct gods who are one and only in purpose. To derive the first idea of the image of God referred to here is interpreted as a physical image, so the verses are understood to mean that man is in the physical likeness of God, with the converse also being true, namely that God has a human-like body of flesh and bones with essentially human portions. Christians, on the other hand, generally understand God's image as referring to the divine moral and intellectual qualities important to man rather than the physical resemblance. The beast of the earth created in verse 24-25 evidently included gorillas and apes, with bodies similar to ours and with eyes, nose and mouth arranged much as they are on human face. The striking difference about man created in verse 26 is not so much physical as spiritual. Unlike the beast, man was made with a view towards the day when we all, with an open face, beholding as a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed in the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. As to man's physical form, if it were truly the same as God's, there would have been no need for Christ to change his form when he came to earth, described in Philippians 2:6-7. Who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of man. The fact that Christ had to give up being in the form of God to be made in the likeness of men shows that the two are not the same. This does not mean, of course, that God has a body grotesquely different from our own, but rather that we read in the scripture teaches us that God is of an entirely different form altogether. While man is mere flesh and blood, God is spirit. John 4:24. Before going on to the second issue, a word would be said about the Christians can hope to accomplish through discussion such as the above. While you may be able to answer Mormon misinterpretation of particular Bible verses, you should not expect to convince your Mormon listener that his belief is wrong, at least not immediately. The reason for this is that the Mormon belief is not really based on the Bible verse, but rather on the official teaching of the LDS Church. He may now realize that the verse in question does not support his belief, but that is not a big enough problem for him, because his belief rests solidly, he thinks, on another support. For example, the case just discussed, it does not matter to the Mormon that Genesis 1:26 does not say God has a body like ours, because that belief of his is actually based on what he reads in the works of the teachings of the prophet Joseph Smith by Joseph Fielding Smith, Desert Book Company. Resting his faith on such writings of his church rather than on the Bible, the Mormon will not see the need to change his beliefs. As to God saying, let us make man in our image, Orthodox Christians offer more than one possible explanation for the use of the plural pronoun, but the use of the plural is in no way conflicts with the Orthodox doctrine of the Trinity, nor does it support the Mormon view that the Trinity consists of three separate and distinct gods are one only in purpose. Anyhow, that's just a little bit, and we'll go into another text. Alright.